everybody. Welcome to a brand new episode of DeRailed podcast. We managed to record another one of these, and it hasn't been a whole 5 months yet, so that's always fun. Joined by me today, we have...
Hi, I'm Matt. I have a YouTube channel called Matt Presents, where I talk about movies and stuff. My main show is a show called Matt's Fun Time Bad Movie Show. It's your pretty standard bad movie review, but I do a lot of other things. I do editorials. I talk about histories of things. Go ahead. Do you have something?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I've been watching your channel ever since it was the same thing with Tim. It was the childhood trauma craze where everyone was doing a childhood trauma video. And then after you did your video, you did a video where you linked both me and someone else I've recorded with in the past, the 8-Bit Misfits video, or Tim. And that's kind of what got communication between us started. This is the first time we're actually in a call together speaking to each other. But we have been kind of tweeting back and forth for, I'd say, over a year now.
Yeah, it's probably about a year.
Yeah, childhood trauma was at least a year ago. I don't know, I don't know when I actually got in contact with you guys, but...
It's funny because I deliberately did the childhood trauma thing because I'm like, this will get 10 views and I'll never have to think about it again. And then that's how nearly
they were
half...
popular videos.
That's how nearly half my current subscribers know me.
Yeah, I'm happy that you can I'm happy for you that you can say half, because I'd say it's more than half for me. I'd say we're looking at 90% for me, and they're not getting any more of the good old horror content they want. So I'm down to a good maybe 10% of those subscribers watching my videos. But I'll try to think of something. The BoJack video did well. Yeah. I can't think of the last thing I did that did exceptionally well. I did one on animations recently, just creepy animations on the internet, and I thought that one would do decent, but it really didn't. But oh well, I have fun doing it, so I don't care.
Yeah, that's always been my thing. I enjoy making Matt's Fun Time Bad Movie Show, so I've kind of gone okay, this is a little derivative. This isn't the best made thing I could possibly do, but it's fun.
Yeah, no, they are really enjoyable, and the thing I like about them so much is you got someone good old nostalgia critic, and I feel everything he goes after is super obvious, something extremely well known. And I don't know, every single time you do an episode of your show, it's there's a 1% chance that I'll actually know what you're the movie you're talking about beforehand, because you go for some really obscure ones.
Yeah, my niche is very much either A, so bad it's good movies that not a lot of people have heard of, or B, movies with really stupid titles, because I just want to know what's in these movies. Movies like Dahmer versus Gacy. It's okay, I gotta know what is in this movie.
Yeah, they're very unique in that sense, because it's you're not covering The Room or anything. I think the most mainstream thing I've seen you cover on that show is Cool Cat.
Well, I did.
Funny enough,
I did Twilight in November, but
oh, that's right, you did do Twilight.
I sort of justified that with it was the 10th anniversary, and also I think there's a lot to say about Twilight, and not enough people are talking about it. Because it was a hot trend, but no one ever went, hey, wait a minute, this is a hilarious movie. So it's sort of 10 years of hindsight.
What was the name of the second one? Was the second one New Moon?
I think the second one was New Moon. It's New Moon, Eclipse, and Breaking Dawn. I think New Moon was the second.
Yeah, New Moon I did actually watch. It's the only one I watched, and I watched it with family, and we actually did have a good time laughing at it. But I never watched any of the others, but I do remember finding New Moon to be kind of a funny movie.
New Moon is one of the funnier ones. Yes. They get better, but also less enjoyable Like, Twilight is the most enjoyable, but it's also objectively the worst. So by the time you get to, like, Breaking Dawn, it's like, this is almost a decent movie, but not decent enough that I can enjoy it on its own merits.
So it's just kind of boring at that point.
Yeah. I mean, it's a little funny just because of how bizarre and unfocused of a movie it is.
Isn't it like a ton of it? I don't really, I guess spoilers for Twilight right here. I don't know if anyone's super concerned about that. I feel like I think the potential audience for Twilight is all grown up now. Wasn't like a big chunk of that movie just a dream sequence, and then it cuts, like, just undoes a bunch of stuff, and I don't know. I thought I remember hearing something about that.
No. I haven't seen Breaking Dawn Part 2, so maybe that happens in Part 2, but I've only seen Part 1.
Okay, gotcha.
Because I really only watch these when I get together with my friends, and we got together over Christmas and watched Part 1, so we'll probably watch Part 2, like, next time we hang out.
Yeah, I like getting together with, like, I mean, whenever it's like me and my cousins and my brother, we'll get together and watch a bunch of stuff. And gotta say, one of my favorite bad movies of all time is, I feel like it's such a dumb answer too, but have you ever heard of the Disney Channel original movie Lemonade Mouth?
Oh, I have. I've never seen it. I think I recall you mentioning it once, maybe in a video.
I did. I praised it. It was the only 11 out of 10 I've ever given. No, it's like, so it's, my cousin was going on about this movie he saw, Lemonade Mouth, and it's this Disney Channel original. And I'm like, okay, if it's Disney Channel original, it's probably not very good. And he's like, no, it's a masterpiece. And he just refuses to ever break that character. And whenever I'm around him, I refuse to break that character too now. But, in fact, in any video I do, aside from a podcast, I will never acknowledge it as anything other than a masterpiece. It is just the most cliche high school movie you could possibly get to but it goes to certain extremes that I haven't seen those other movies go. Like, if you're an athlete in this movie, you are the biggest piece of shit. All of them are made assholes. It's just like, the poor art students, and it is amazing how bad that one is.
I remember, like, the commercials for it on the Disney Channel, because that was like High School Musical era, and they would just advertise the shit out of those movies.
Oh, they would. I
remember Camp Rock, like 2 or 3. Yeah. They started showing commercials for like a year before they came out, and I'm like, please, I don't care. I don't care about the Jonas Brothers. They're coming back, aren't they? That's topical again.
Yeah, they are back, actually. My cousins listen to their music all the time. I don't know if they do it ironically or not, but we watched their new music video when they were there. I don't remember a single thing about it. I can't say it was awful. I just don't remember it. I'm not really into that kind of music, though.
That kind of summarizes all the pop stars on Disney Channel. It's like, I didn't hate it, but I don't remember it.
Yeah. Lemonade Mouth, I gotta say, the songs in that movie, there's quite a few of them. I don't remember really any of them except for this song, I think that's called Determinate. I don't remember for sure. But whenever I am drinking with those same people I watched it with, suddenly I remember all the songs, and it's the best damn music you'll ever hear. Some freaking masterpiece. I
sing too much when I'm drunk. It's a bad habit. I'm like, because I'm so much. I'm already not a good singer, but I get so much more out of tune when I'm drunk. But I just want to sing all the time.
I get that. I do it too. I dance a lot, and I'm a big guy, so the whole house is shaking. But it's it's a very entertaining movie if you're drunk and with the right people. I think there's literally they're put in the basement like, because like the whole thing is like showing how the music department's being mistreated while the athletes are praised. And I'm not going to act like in some high schools that's not the case, where the sports are what is kind of like taken the most seriously, but the way they go about it, to me, is just the funniest fucking thing. They are located in the basement directly under the restrooms, and there's leaks, so the other students in the school are literally shitting on the music students.
Oh.
And you have this principal who goes around riding a Segway everywhere. I'd recommend it, but you have to be like, I don't know, like we often pick Disney Channel movies when we get together and drink. They're very easy targets, but it's a lot of fun.
I do think there is some, like when you're with people or when you're drunk, there's a much lower bar for what counts as so bad it's good.
Yeah.
It's like, there are a lot of movies I would never watch on my own that I have enjoyed immensely with other people. I watched one with my friends recently. It was called Big Money Hustlas. It's a New York gangster movie starring the Insane Clown Posse. And it's so baffling. It's like a typical 90s comedy, except written by the Insane Clown Posse. And it's so bad, but we're in this together. Like, we're all suffering together, and it makes this movie so much better.
And like, I do think that's...
I would never recommend it just in general, but...
Yeah. That's kind of the same with me and Lemonade Mouth, because realistically, I would not want to watch this movie by myself. Like, something like... I think that Neil Breen movies or Cool Cat, like stuff like that, is kind of fun to watch on your own, just because it's like a new level of bad to where they barely understand like the basics of cinema. Basically it's the quality of a YouTube video and not even a good YouTube video. Although maybe I think Neil Breen's a little higher than Derek Savage, I'd say. At least he's made a second film.
Yeah. And hasn't just kept recycling the same stuff. I'm actually wearing my Neil Breen t-shirt right now.
Nice.
Wouldn't you know?
I have respect for Neil Breen. I think it's a common thing brought up that, like, people like Derek Savage and Tommy Wiseau, I think, could have done so well. I mean, Tommy Wiseau, it's a little hard to say because, like, he kind of was, like, the start of all of this, like, where people just really loved, like, just the terrible movies and kind of like throw events where they rewatch all these movies. Like he's kind of one of the early ones, but Derek Savage could have taken a different route, because like you have I know I'm freezing up a lot here, the Neil Breen I think had the perfect attitude with how people respond to his films, because he has this huge fan base. People still are, everyone's on good terms with him, and he gets to keep making his movies and selling theaters out because he handled his audience well. And it's also not like the guy from Birdemic who realized that people were laughing at him, so he just decided to make honest to God, the fucking director of Birdemic sold out.
Yeah. Well, Neil Breen's got this, because his movies are surreal enough that he's kind of got that bubble to protect his ego, that it's like, you just didn't get it. Like, the real ones understand.
Yeah. But he's also, he's not going to, like, ban someone from buying his movie because they like it for the reason that wasn't intended. He's a very good sport. He's a very good sport about everything, and I respect the guy.
Also, his films aren't for children, and he doesn't have a Twitter account where he tweets things that should not be going out to children.
Oh, I follow the Cool Cat page. It's very entertaining.
Yes.
He's bringing down all the fake news.
I have a whole folder of awful Cool Cat tweets on my phone. Oh, shoot.
Oh, I love it. It's good stuff. Derek Savage is entertaining to follow for the same reasons that someone like Chris Chan is entertaining to follow.
Yes, I've always sort of seen them on the same level. Chris Chan, I sometimes feel bad for. I've never felt bad for Derek Savage. He has it coming.
It's hard to feel bad for Chris Chan because, I mean, like, in his past, I don't know, like...
Yeah. It's
just a lot. He's done a lot of bad things. But I do think that the outrage online and the people who like pretended to be other people, I don't think they helped, and I don't think that should have been encouraged.
Yeah.
But so I kind of understand to that extent. But yeah, with Derek Savage, like things were going well to him until he got angry at like I hate everything, and from there on, it's just true colors were shown. And yeah, he is not sympathetic in the slightest.
No.
But so the main topic of this episode was, as if you couldn't already guess, is So Bad It's Good movies. That's what we decided to kind of build this around because it's a big part of your channel.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're going to introduce that. Or if we were just going to talk forever and let people figure it out on their own.
Yeah, well, the title will kind of give it away. And, we went into it naturally. But I guess I was just like, yeah, I should say that this is what the episode's about, I guess. I have a couple of things. Most of them connect to this, although not every single one of them. One thing I was going to finish in what I was saying before. We got derailed, my friends.
Title drop.
Yeah. That normally results in one of my friends telling me to fuck off.
I'll tell you to fuck off if it makes you feel better.
All right.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it does make me feel a little better. Makes me feel like my good buddy Gage never moved away. You were saying that like there's some movies that where the standards are lowered for like it's like lowered standards for So Bad It's Good, and I agree with that because I do not think Lemonade Mouth would have been entertaining to me if I wasn't like with a group of people that I was gonna laugh with no matter what we did. We're drinking, and if we weren't making fun of like Lemonade Mouth, we probably could have looked at like paint drying on a wall and found things to make jokes about.
Well,
when you're drunk and stupid like that with a good crowd, you are right. The standards are lowered. Another one that I really love, another Disney Channel movie I really love, is Cloud 9. You ever hear of that one?
I have not.
It's just like a snowboarding movie, but like how in all the Disney Channel movies there has to be like some sort of misunderstanding at the end where things get really sad for a bit, but then they get back together and everything's good.
You said it's a Disney Channel original about snowboarding, and I'm like, okay, I know what this movie is. Like, I feel like I've already seen it. Oh,
there is a twist though. They do the sad misunderstanding part twice. The two people split up, get back together, and then it happens again. I love it.
You did it, Disney. Subverting our expectations.
Has a record-breaking amount of montages, too, I have to say.
Oof.
Every other scene's a fucking montage in that movie.
Up there with, like, Rocky IV.
Yeah. So, we've kind of talked about a lot of them vaguely, but what are some of your favorite So Bad It's Good movies?
Well, my favorite So Bad It's Good movie is a film from the 60s. 62, I want to say. It's called The Creeping Terror.
The Creeping Terror.
The Creeping Terror. It is 1964, although that might be wrong. There's a little debate on when it came out. It's just like one of the most low-quality movies you could ever watch, and there's just an amazing story behind it. It's basically the producers in real life. This guy just went around to all these producers and got all this money for this film, and he made the cheapest thing he could and ran off with the money. And he hasn't made a film since.
Oh my god. Love that. I mean, it's a scummy thing to do, but it's hilarious. Did you do an episode of your show on this one?
I have not. I am actually, because I'm coming very close to 1,000 subscribers, and I think I'm gonna, for 1,000 subscribers, talk about the history and the film itself, because it is exactly as hilarious as you would want a film with that backstory to be, because they didn't record any dialogue, and there's arguments on why that was. But they get this footage and there's no dialogue, and they can't get most of the actors back to record their lines. So like 90% of the film is narration. They just got a narrator in to read everyone's lines.
I'm looking at an image from it. I'm seeing a really weird tree holding up a woman. Is this accurate? Is this the right movie?
Maybe. It's kind of
got a very upset face. He's like a tree.
It's not a tree. It's very difficult.
Does the picture just?
It's very difficult to describe the creature. A lot of people have lovingly called it the carpet monster because it's made like 90% of carpet, and there's like little wiggly things hanging off its like head, I guess.
Yeah, I do see that. I honestly, he looked like a tree to me.
There wasn't a way for them to move the mouth. It's just a hole. So all the actors had to crawl into its mouth.
Damn.
And it's really obvious they're crawling into its mouth. Some people made it look like, oh, I'm fighting it. But some of them are like, nah, I'm just going to crawl in. I'm dead.
Some of them wanted to make something, but it was just unfortunate. This, this looks amazing. I'll definitely add it to my watch list. Maybe this would be a good Mako and Zach video.
There are so many crazy stories. I'm not sure how many of them are true. Because, I mean, there's like the obvious, like, oh, everyone was coked out of their mind. And it's like, yeah, they look coked out of their mind. But then there's stuff like the director was friends with Charles Manson. And there are scenes in the film filmed on the Manson family ranch. And I'm like, I'm not so sure that's true. There was a documentary about it, and it's not a great documentary. It's called Creep Behind the Camera. And it just goes over some of the things people have said about the film over the years.
Sometimes, unfortunately, when you have someone do something like that, whether it's like a recreation or like a retelling of the story, like actually writing up a script or doing a documentary, sometimes the source material is too good for the person making it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's very much what happened with The Disaster Artist. The Disaster Artist at least had a great performance in it. So it's available on YouTube for free or on Amazon Prime for $1.
Creeping Terror or Disaster Artist?
The Creeping Terror.
All right. I think it's public domain. I might be wrong. Disaster Artist, I was okay with, but I read the book, and the book has like so many levels to it. It's a really interesting story that really doesn't cast Tommy Wiseau as like the hero or villain. It kind of shows him for who he was, and it does make a sympathetic character out of him. You were never going to get that from you were never going to get that from a James Franco comedy. They just took the funny parts and were like, haha, look at this funny thing Tommy did.
Yeah, I do think that they at least kind of show some of his shittiness, like, you know, there not being proper heat, proper cooling on the set, them not having water provided on set, just very basic things that they're missing out on.
Yeah, but it was still mostly just played for laughs, you know.
I do agree. It's like it felt like your typical like Seth Rogen kind of comedy in some places, honestly.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, like I'm kind of happy that a movie exists of it. I do think that I hope that, like, you know, the rights to the story doesn't belong to them now, because I do think that someone could probably do something better with the source material. My biggest problem with it is that the ending is just so clearly a lie, because he did not take it that well right away. He took it very poorly for a long time.
Yeah. I also, it kind of has made The Room a lot more mainstream than a lot of other So Bad It's Good movies. And, there's just going to be people that are like, oh, The Room, that's like the best So Bad It's Good movie. I'm like, there's so many other So Bad It's Good movies.
Yeah. I think my favorite So Bad It's Good movie, I don't know, like, it might honestly be Birdemic. I don't know that for sure, because I kind of am torn between that and The Room. I haven't seen as many as you have. I want to watch a lot more, but I just don't like watching those alone. I like those being group day films. But Birdemic, I loved so much. I mean, that's a very popular pick, too.
Yeah.
Because just, I feel like even The Room had better, not good, they had to dub over a bunch of scenes, but better sound than Birdemic.
Oh, don't talk to me about sound. I'm working on a video right now for a movie called Lumber versus Jack. Like, my videos have better audio than this.
I like that
title. Great title. It has terrible audio. They were clearly using the mic built into the camera. So if the camera's closer to a character, it's louder. And if it's further away, it's quieter. It's like, learn to balance your audio.
Oh, God. Yeah, Birdemic at least had that song that kind of sounded fairly balanced in the one very long dance scene.
Yeah.
Get out, hang with your family. That's like all it is for 5 minutes.
What's that guy's name? I was just thinking about that the other day because my friends and I, when we were watching that, were like, oh, we got to find this guy and this song. And we would jam to it sometimes. I swear I have it on my phone. I do. Damian Carter, Just Hanging Out, from the Birdemic original motion picture soundtrack.
There's always a charm to those little songs made to go with these indie films. I'm not gonna give any names now because it'd be very rude, but I've edited for people before that make movies I'd say are higher quality than Birdemic, but it was just like a little freelance gig, and they had an original song, and it just immediately reminds me of "Gotta Hang Out with Your Family" or whatever the name of the song is.
Just hanging out.
Just
and there's like the one clap in the chorus. I remember I heard from a lot of people about Birdemic, and I'm like, this can't be as good as everyone says. Like, it's too mainstream. And then I watched it, and I'm like, no, it was as bad as everyone said.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Now, here's a different question, similar topic though. What is something out there that, and this might be kind of a loaded question, but something out there that you kind of deep down, you know it's bad, but you still love it?
Oh, well, there are a couple movies like that. I really like the 1989 Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren, because it's so straightforward. It's like proto John Wick. It's just, you're here to see Dolph Lundgren kill people. Here's Dolph Lundgren killing people. And that's just the movie. Yeah. It's not good, but I enjoy it. There's a couple movies like that. I saw Triple X just a couple weeks ago. The first one with Vin Diesel, and I'm like...
Yeah, I've never seen those.
I actually enjoyed the first one. I was expecting it to be really dumb and kind of lame, because I didn't like the first Fast and the Furious that much. But Triple X I thought was really funny, because the first 20 minutes, it's just like non-stop explosions. Like, everything blows up, and Vin Diesel's driving off everything. Like, there's a scene he's at like a cocaine farm, and it's getting raided, and he drives off everything on the farm. He drives off mounds of dirt, off carts, off the roof. It's really funny.
Nice. I think my big example, this, like, for anyone who watches my channel, this is not going to be a surprising answer at all, is like fucking stupid Mario Bros. Now, as a child, that was a completely unironic love. But now, like, I'm watching with my friend who also grew up on the show. I actually met him because of that show. We were both fans of it. And it is just, oh my God, it's so easy to make fun of now. But I have that soft spot for it because I grew up on it. And I feel like that's a common thing for people. Like, you can look at something you liked as a kid and acknowledge, yeah, it's pretty shitty, but I still love it because I have that nostalgic connection to it.
I swear I watched Stupid Mario Bros, but I don't remember that much about it.
Well, it was a very popular show on YouTube for a while. I think that most episodes would make it to like 300,000 to 400,000 views when it was in its prime. Now he's the fucking guy's lucky to get to 1,000 views because he completely fucked his channel up. But it was a very enjoyable show for a while. And even though like it's pretty objectively bad now that looking back at it, it's still, there's something so inspiring about the whole thing. Just because, I don't know if you've ever seen the Mumkey Jones video on it, but he put it well in his video, where it was just inspiring to see a bunch of teenagers get together and make this big web series of a continuing story arc, and people are watching, and there's just something about it that is still very appealing to me.
Yeah, that did appeal to me a lot about like older YouTube content like that.
Yeah.
The thing with Stupid Mario Bros. Though is I would just like go over to my friend's house and we'd watch all sorts of YouTube videos about like video game character does dumb thing. And it just, like Stupid Mario Bros. Would just fit in perfectly with all the videos we watched. So maybe I never saw it. It just seems like something we would have watched.
Yeah, I discovered it by accident with another friend of mine. This being a friend I didn't have over the internet because I did not make internet friends at this time. I was listening to what adults said you should not do. But we were looking for a different video, and the way he was describing it was going to be just something a lot more vulgar. Like it was going to be Mario driving down the streets and he finds a prostitute and thinks it's Peach. Something around those lines. And then we accidentally come across the show, and at first I fucking hated it and wanted him to stop playing it, but it just develops the story, and it's unlike, even though again I acknowledge it's not good, it's unlike anything else out there. It's a YouTube show that's also a parody that has this huge fucking story to it, and it did it before anything else. Like there wasn't really any big continuity on YouTube at that point. No one was really delving into stories like that, and it worked for them for a while.
Yeah, sketch comedy was big, like, early YouTube.
Yeah, Smosh was, like, one of the biggest channels.
Yeah, I remember watching a lot of Ryan Higa.
Yeah, like Niga Higa, yeah.
Yeah, the, like, how to be nerd and how to be emo and all that.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Early hits.
Yeah. You ever hear of a YouTube channel called Dr. Cool Sex?
No, I have not.
They did a lot of Mario skits too, but theirs were more along the lines of what I think you're describing, where it's just like this big parody, and it's like just making the Mario characters do inappropriate things, or like I don't know. But I loved that channel for a while. I guess. Did you ever see like the fake Mario Kart trailer?
Oh, I did. The Lego one. Hold on. Was it Lego?
No. It was like this. It was like this live action one.
I don't think I've seen the live action one. Maybe.
Okay.
I think what I'm thinking of was I was thinking of like a Grand Theft Auto in Legos.
Oh, okay. I did watch some of those Lego videos when I was younger. There was a lot of Lego stop motions. I think there still kind of are. With like the Lego movie stuff being really popular.
I mean, it's easy enough to make. I say having made a lot of those stop motion videos as a kid, and they are awful. You can like count the frames per second.
I did claymations when I was a kid, and I don't even like it was such minimal animation because I wanted to make stuff, but I was also lazy that I'm not even sure if you could qualify it as like actual stop motion, even considering I was just a child. Another movie that, tell me if you've seen this one. If not, I won't talk about it long. Have you ever seen Hot Rod with Andy Samberg?
Oh, I have. I
fucking love that movie. I know it's shit, but I fucking love it. Unironically, I find it hilarious. I mean, it's trying to be hilarious. I think it's a movie that knows exactly what it is, what it has to be, and it's just so stupid, but it takes full advantage of that stupidity.
Yeah. Geez. I don't remember that much about it, but I do remember some particularly funny moments. Like, he gets in a fight with, who's that actor? I don't know, it's an actor I really like. It's like his dad or his stepdad. Oh,
yeah. I know, yeah, that's like, that's the whole plot of the movie.
They just get in a fight.
Yeah. Well,
Ian
they
McShane.
they always fight each other because it's his stepfather. And he wants to beat his stepfather in a fight because that's the only way he can get his stepdad's respect. But then it turns out his stepdad is dying from a horrible disease, and they don't have the money to pay for the surgery to take care of him. So he raises money so he can kick his stepdad's ass.
Right. I recall that now.
I love that. Oh. Any other movies you want to talk about, or should we move on to the next subject?
I mean, I could talk about a few so bad it's good movies, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Go. Yeah, go. By all means.
Because there's some lesser known ones I want to shout out. Flying Ryan, which I did a very early review on. I don't know that it's a review that holds up.
These all have such amazing names.
Oh, God. I watched the audio commentary for Flying Ryan, and the director talks about they want to make a sequel called Flying Ryan Goes Hawaiian. And I'm like, oh, I want to see that movie. But that movie's from like 2001, and they're not making a sequel. But Flying Ryan, it's like a Heelys commercial, basically. This kid gets a pair of Heelys, and then he starts flying. And based on information I've had to piece together myself that no kid would ever clue into, I think it has something to do with, like, his grandfather was a pilot, and he puts, like, part of his grandfather's plane, like, the lights on his shoes, and that's what allows him to fly. It's like his grandfather's ghost. But no kid is going to catch on to that, because I still think I might have that wrong. But he just starts flying, and the flying effects are exactly as good as you think they are.
Yeah. I'm picturing some green screen use there.
And there's these bullies in his town, and he just flies away from them, and they kidnap his dog, and he has to fly and save his dog. And there's a lot of kind of inappropriate content for a kid's movie.
There's a lot of those, though.
A scene where, like, the bully's dad walks outside and his wife's there, and he smacks his wife's ass. And it shows like a close-up of her ass. And it's like, why is this in a children's film?
Oh, God.
There's like one shot on the film where he looks in the window of like a belly dancing studio and sees all the scantily clad women, and he's like cut to like overreactive kid going, oh my gosh, like the huge eyes, jaw drop.
Well, I'm writing some of these down because there's only so much more Stupid Mario Bros. Left, and after that, me and Zach are going to need new stuff to make videos on.
Boy.
I just love the titles. The Creep and Terror, Flying Ryan, Lumber versus Jack. It's amazing.
Oh boy. Matthew Blackheart Monster Smasher. That's a good one. I should review that. It's so weird. It's like they threw like 100 different scripts together to make this guy fighting monsters movie, and he's like ridiculously patriotic the whole film, because it starts with him like fighting the Nazis, and he's like, ah, yeah, for America, and then he gets frozen gets thawed out like years later. The kid from How to Train Your Dragon is in it, like before he got famous.
That is the one big DreamWorks trilogy I'm yet to see.
I've seen the first one. The animation's really good. I don't really remember how the story holds up.
I'm a big fan of Shrek. Kung Fu Panda, I think, is okay. Madagascar, kind of with the Weisenheimer guys. Not Sardonic ass guys on that.
I think I kind of disagree with the Sardonicast guys. I think the first one's the best. Because it's just so... Like, it's a pretty standard kids story for a kids movie. But it's so weird in how it's told. And then, like, the second one is exactly what I was expecting from a sequel. And the third one feels like a straight-to-DVD sequel.
Yeah, well, yeah, because I do think the plot with that one, it does feel kind of ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, like, it's just, it's very... It's just like, what wacky location can we put these characters in next? I will say, for Madagascar, the first one I did like when it came out and I was younger. So it at least has that on me. But yeah, I'm more or less with Ralph on all of that, more so than any of them now. What were you saying before? My bad, we got derailed.
I didn't have anything else. I was looking at some like bad movies I like.
You were talking about the one guy, super patriotic, was frozen.
Oh, Matthew Blackheart, Monster Smasher.
Yeah, the guy from How to Train Your Dragon was in that, so that's how we got off topic.
Yeah, very ridiculous movie. The DVD I have of it, the frame rate changes a lot, which is weird. I have not seen a lot of movies do that.
That's normally a bad game thing.
It might be like they sped up the footage, and that's why it looks slightly higher frame rate sometimes.
Yeah. Sometimes people just like have bad renders of a video or something that they put together. And although I'm not sure how old this is, it might have been made very differently, but they don't go back and fix it out of laziness.
2002. So.
2002. So it was digital, probably. Maybe I'm very wrong about that, actually.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, what the heck? It's a Canadian movie.
It's a Canadian movie.
Of this guy, like, there's an American flag on the poster. He's wearing the American flag as a cape.
Maybe he was making fun of Americans.
Maybe it's a brilliant satire and I didn't get it.
Perhaps. Maybe it's like a Neil Breen movie. You just didn't get it.
Oh, yes.
Oh. Well, I got one more topic here, if you're down.
Go ahead.
So one thing that you've referenced in videos a bunch of times, especially in that, it was one of the episodes of Matt's Fun Time Bad Movie show, where you reviewed, I don't remember the name, but it was a religious CGI cartoon about fish.
Oh, Gaither's Pond.
I've never seen that one. I did actually really very much enjoy your review of it because I've seen so many shows like that of the same quality, where it was just a really bad animation or really corny live action. But there's occasionally a good song thrown in, though. There's something charming about Christian rock, you know. But one show that you've referenced in a bunch of videos, including that one, is a little series called Veggie Tales.
Oh, God.
Including your childhood trauma video.
Yes, I talked about it in my childhood trauma video, and that's the only video of mine my mother has watched. So she is now convinced that my channel is about me swearing at Veggie Tales. I'm like, Mom, I don't ever talk about Veggie Tales. I've done like 2 videos where I referenced it. Please.
But I just find that so interesting because I've literally never seen anyone else reference that fucking show. But I've watched that all. I have like the VHSs of it.
Oh yeah.
I probably still have like in a box somewhere in our basement or something, like some of my old. I had like the plushies when I was a kid. I was a very big fan of Veggie Tales when I was younger.
Yes,
I didn't have a traumatic experience with it like you did, but
I think a lot of the older episodes do kind of hold up. Like there's
I do agree with that.
Decent jokes, and like
yeah, like Monty Python references in some of it.
Yeah, like unlike other Christian shows, they were not afraid to reference like adult movies that kids wouldn't have heard of, but adults would be like, oh, I get it.
Yeah, it was a show made by, you know, like a lot of people have some negative things to say about Christians and propaganda, but it was definitely a show made by some decent folk. It didn't really ever feel like it was trying to force a message, in my opinion. Like it was a very, very charming little series. I love,
yeah.
I think the only episode where I feel like it had a bad message is like, you ever see the Chocolate Bunny episode?
Oh, yeah.
Where the boss literally has them fucking thrown into the furnace at the end, and then when he realizes that they somehow lived, then he turns over a new leaf. Oh, I just tried to fucking murder you guys, but I'm sorry. Shit.
I didn't think about that till right now. Because like, as a kid, I'm like, well, yeah, it's a Bible story, but yeah, that he did literally just try to murder people in a children's show.
Yeah. I'm also thinking, you know, I understand the whole, you know, I get the message, but, you know, maybe you should, you know.
Because they did try to sidestep some of that sometimes.
Yeah.
Because they did one about, like, David and Bathsheba, but they turned it into, like, he wanted a rubber duck.
Yeah, I love that one.
So maybe you could have sidestepped the, hey, you're going to get burned alive.
I started Mackle's TV dinners. Like I just released the first episode recently, and there's very likely, I don't know when, someday in the future going to be an episode on that show. I think that counts as a TV show. It was like VHS release, but I would still consider it like episodes of a show.
Yeah,
but because I definitely grew up on that one. That was an interesting little show. What was your favorite? What would you say your? I don't know how big of a fan of those you were when you were a kid. I just know that you've referenced them a few times. But if you do have a favorite, what would you say your favorite is?
I couldn't tell you. It's been a while since I've seen most of them.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
I'm sure there was one. Like when I was a kid, I'm probably like, this is the best one. And I don't remember what that one was.
It's been a while since I've watched them too. I actually came across like the reason I remember the Chocolate Bunny one so well is because I came across it on a YouTube recommendation. Like, okay, I'm gonna watch this right now. I want to. But I do still recall my favorite from when I was a kid. You ever see this is the one that specifically references Monty Python, the Jericho and the Big Wall episode.
Yeah.
That's that is my favorite one. Me and my brother fucking blast that Keep Walking song when we're driving.
Oh boy. I do still, like, 'cause I just dumped all the music on my computer, like on my family computer onto my phone. So I have a lot of the VeggieTales songs on my phone just because, like, I guess I had those as a kid. So now I have a bunch of VeggieTales music on my phone, and I will still listen to it on occasion.
Yeah, it's enjoyable stuff. It really is. It's like it was a very I don't know, was there any other like religious shows you watched as a kid?
I mean, I definitely watched some other Christian things, but it's, you know, that 90s thing where like you have the one VHS tape and you just watch that forever.
Yeah.
So I remember there was one, I don't even remember what the framing device was, but I just remember the plot was a kid and his friends sneak into an R-rated movie, and then like the kid gets scared, and that's the thing. That's the whole episode, and I never saw another episode of that show.
Yeah,
I want to say he had a little animated version of himself, maybe as his conscience. Yeah. That's the only other Christian thing I can remember right off the top of my head. And Gaither's Pond, because my grandmother had that.
I can't recall too many of them just because I'm trying to think. Like we had a bunch of stuff, but VeggieTales is the only one that ever stood out to me. like into adulthood. It's the only one I remember too well. You ever see Critical's Donkey Ollie series?
I have not.
It's very entertaining. Do you even know what that is? Do you even know what that is?
I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's just do you know who Critical is? Like, it's his YouTube is like Penguin Z0.
Yeah, I'm aware of Critical. I feel like I've seen a few of his videos.
Him and his friend just like commentated this like really old CGI cartoon, and it was another religious one, and it was a very amusing little series they did. But
I remember another Christian series I watched as a kid.
Oh, what is
Bible Man?
Oh, I know Bible Man.
It did not occur to me till I was an adult how weird of a concept that was. He had like a lightsaber, but he would kill people by quoting the Bible. Like every episode, it's just like, oh, here's this Bible verse, and then the villain would just explode. And what?
Oh, my dad and my uncle, they've had this gift exchange going for a very long time now. Where my dad I don't remember if it was my dad or uncle who started as one of those two. One of them was at a store, and they came across an action figure, and it was a Bible Man action figure.
I had the action figure.
And every couple Christmases, it is exchanged. They don't do it back and forth every year because they like it to be unexpected. But that Bible Man action figure has gone many places.
My brother and I do that. One of my teachers in high school, like her brother was a concert promoter, so she had all this like free stuff. And like I let the people who actually wanted it get it, and then I showed up and I'm like, what's left? Oh boy, a Justin Bieber bag. So I gave that to my brother for Christmas, and then he gave it back to me for my birthday. And it's just been back and forth for the past couple years.
Nice. I want something like that to do with my brother, but it's just I don't want to rip off Bible Man. You know, I got to think of my own thing. But
I had the action figure.
Then one day I did find the TV show. I didn't even realize it was a show, but me and my brother were scrolling through television. We're like, oh my god, he had a show. The show is probably what he originates from, right?
I would assume.
Could be a comic book, actually, but who knows?
I doubt it.
Maybe the origins of Bible Man would be an interesting topic for one of us to take on someday.
Oof. I recall there was like a, oh, come meet Bible Man thing that my mother took my brother and I to.
Oh, wow.
And I don't know if it was like the actual guy from the show or just some idiot in a costume. I would guess the latter.
Yeah.
Because I do recall they had like, oh, meet Bob and Larry, and it was always clearly some guy in a costume.
Yeah.
And the costumes would have like arms and legs, and it's like, that's not what it is in the show.
They should have been required to hop in those costumes.
Exactly. Gotta stay in character.
Gotta stay in character. We had this vacation Bible school or whatever it was called, camp or whatever, and one year they did a Veggie Tales theme, so that's how I learned about them. I don't remember if they had someone dressing up in the costumes or not, but I definitely saw that somewhere, the costumes with like the arms and legs sticking out, but it may have been on television. I honestly think the image in Bob the Tomato with like human arms and legs is like super uncanny, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, so we're reaching the end here. We're almost at an hour. It's been very fun talking to you about these things. This is definitely a very different episode of Derailed, but that's what I wanted.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, thanks so much for coming on, man. Yeah, like I said, we've known of each other for a while, but this is the first time we're actually getting on. I wasn't sure if you would want to do this or not, but I appreciate your enthusiasm.
No, I am very happy to appear on podcasts.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
It's nice because it's something I don't have to write or edit.
Yeah,
I can just show up and be funny.
Just gotta send me the audio. That's all. And yeah, that's and this is where you say, oh shit, was I supposed to be recording?
Make sure I was. Okay, yeah, looks like I was.
Good. Well, yeah, we would have nothing if you didn't. But yeah, I appreciate it, man. I had a good time doing this. You're definitely welcome to come on again in the future. Next episode, it's gonna be 2 weeks from now when I record. I'm actually having Tim, the 8-Bit Misfit, on. He appeared on another podcast, Duckcast, which you're also welcome to go on. That's just a Skype call, a Discord call now with my friend, me and Zach. And you wouldn't even have to record your own end. We just record the call. But thanks for coming on, man. Is there anything you want to plug at the end of this? Your YouTube or anything else?
Subscribe to T-Series.
Subscribe to T-Series. You on T-Series side?
I don't care.
I'm on the side. I was gonna say I was waiting for you to answer, and I was gonna say I'm on the side of not giving a shit.
I kind of want T-Series to just go ahead and win so everyone can shut up about it.
Yeah, honestly, normally I don't have the mentality of oh, shut up about this, because I feel like I can ignore it, but you literally can't ignore the fucking T-Series shit. It's so all over the place, and I honestly, you can be in a comment section for something super unrelated, and then you'll have someone say, subscribe to PewDiePie, and I like Felix fine, but it's super obnoxious.
Yeah, when it started, it was oh, that's too bad. PewDiePie is an actual YouTuber and he's losing to a corporation. And now it's please stop. I don't care.
There's a lot of people saying oh, it's super important because if PewDiePie doesn't have it, then a corporation has it. But YouTube's a big corporation. Who really cares at this point? They kick people off their website for no good reason. It's a very flawed website. We should try to migrate.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
I don't think you'll be successful, but we'll see.
At this point, I'm not jumping ship until everyone has jumped ship.
I'm not either. But if everyone does jump ship, I'll do it. I don't know. I don't think that's happening anytime soon, but I don't know. If they keep going down every single year and making everyone angry, then maybe someday. Maybe someday.
Maybe.
Or maybe they could just fucking fix their website. I don't know. That's an option too.
That is an option.
Sorry for going on this rant at the end.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of my fault. I promote my channel. Just go check out my videos. I assume there's a link in the description.
Yeah, there will be.
If not, I will comment spam this video until Michael puts it in the description.
I'll make your channel link the first thing in the description.
Very nice.
And I love how in this episode of DeRailed we managed to get derailed during the channel plug.
You're welcome.
It's my fault. I'm the one who really went into it. Oh, thanks for listening. And Matt, thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.